Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Abam. We're continuing in Mishna Daf Hashor. We're learning Siman Kuf Lamed Beis. Today we are going to try to finish Siman Kuf Lamed Beis. We're up to the end of the Ramah. The Ramah cited that Yesh Loimar Pitum Haketores Erev Avoker Achar Tefillah. First you say Ein Kelokeinu. Then the Ramah said, V'yesha kasra, those who wrote, Lizar loimer pitum haketores, mitoich haksav loy bapeh. Some write that you should be careful to say pitum haketores from something which is written, but not by heart. Mishum shoha amira b'makom hahaktara, because saying it is in lieu of offering it. V'chayshinan, and we're concerned shema yedaleg, you might skip. Echad misamoneha, one of the ingredients. We say that one is chayiv misa if they miss one of the ingredients. Therefore, the minhag is not to say it during the week. Then people hurry off to their work. We're afraid they might skip it. When you do leave the shul oimer, you say Hashem necheni. You say the pasuk, Hashem necheni b'maglei tzedek u'mishtachave, you bow v'yoytze and you leave. Now, I do want to point out that nowhere does the Mechaber or the Ramah say you should say Pitum Haketores from a klaf. It's not in the Gemara, it's not in the Rishonim, it's not in the Mechaber, it's not in the Ramah. What is in the Ramah is when you leave the shul, you should bow. Hayitache, you say Pitum Haketores from a klaf, and you don't bow when you walk out of the shul. Bowing when you walk out of the shul is halacha. Pitum Haketores is not. Now, here's a little bit of a theory. Does anybody know where it comes from? Dun dun. I didn't think so. It comes from the Sefer Seder Hayom. It's not in the Kisvei area, it's in the Seder Hayom. Now, maybe where it comes from is because you have to be so careful to say it mitoich haksav, people made extra emphasis to say it mitoich haksav. So there was a focus on saying it mitoich haksav. Maybe. Anyway, let's see the Mishnah on this. Shema Yadalig. Beis Yosef mafakbek bazeh. The Beis Yosef questions this, even though, by the way, this concern quote is from the Beis Yosef. The Beis Yosef is the one who brings it down. But from the Chumash Hadesh and the Orchos Chaim of Lunel. But the Beis Yosef questions it. Why? The haloi ein misa ela b'haktara. There's no misa by offering it. There's no misa only by offering it, not by saying it. V'oy de'in misa el b'mezid. One's only chayiv misa b'mezid. Chen hamadaktikim noigin la'amr b'choyam. Therefore, the medaktikim are noyeg to say it every day. So the Beis Yosef challenges this v'yesh shakasvu, even though, by the way, the Ramah says the minhag is not to say it during the week. Finished. However, the Beis Yosef questions that. First of all, you're not chayiv misa only if you're makter, not if you say it. Secondly, there's no misa only if you do it on purpose. So the medaktikim, they say it every day. Some say those who only say it on Shabbos, ein margala b'pumayu kolkach. So they're not so familiar with it. So yomru mitay chasida, they should say it from a siddur. I want to try to answer the second question of the Beis Yosef. The Beis Yosef's second question is, the Beis Yosef's first question. Haloi ein misa ela b'haktara loy ba'amira. Beis Yosef asks, there's no problem. It's only you're only chayiv misa if you bring it without missing an ingredient, not if you say it. Let's look carefully at the language of the Ramah. The language of the Ramah is V'yesha kasu lizar lam pitum haketores nachzav lepa mishum sha'amira b'makam aktara v'chashin Hashem yidalig v'amrinan shu chayiv misa m'chisar achas mikol samonah. Why does the Rama say, and we say that you're chayiv misa? Why is that the point? The Rama should just say, we're afraid Shema Yedalig Echa Misamanea, V'hu Chayiv Misam, Chisar Achas Misamanea. Why does the Rama focus, and we say? Perhaps what the Rama is saying is, obviously the person is trying to activate the principle of Unashalma Farim Sefasenu. That's why we're saying Pitum Haketores. And at the same time, we're saying someone who misses one of the ingredients is chayiv misa. Why are we saying that? Because we're trying to actually consider it as if we brought it, and we're saying, when you bring it. So, if it's almost like, the two dimensions of it. First of all, if you yourself say those words, it's not just the reality of chisar achas mikol samanach misa. You're saying that. So you're saying that you have to be extremely careful not to miss one of the ingredients. You yourself said that. The Rama doesn't just say the halacha is im chisar achas mikol samanach. The Rama says ve'amrinan im chisar achas mikol samanach. Furthermore, you're trying to activate the principle unashalma farim sefasenu. Okay, that's just a thought. Now the Rama said that when you leave the shul, you should say the pasuk necheni. We should probably get what the words of that pasuk are, since the Rama says you should say it, and it comes from the kolbai, and you should bow. Why? In the Beis Hamikdash, when they finished the avodah, they would bow and leave. V'ayin b'magen Avram. Like we find in Meseches Tamid, at the end of the avodah, v'hishtachava v'yatza. By the way, the Berura brings that the Maril bowed 3 times when he kishahalach mimakoymai lamul aron hakodesh, when he went from his place opposite the aron, uvitseisaymi pesach beis hakneses, and when he left the shul b'chol pam kitaman ifnei rabbi. The Maril bowed 3 times when he went opposite the Aron or when he left the shul. Okay, let's jump into the Maimer HaKadeshim. Let's jump back into we're on page Tesvav. We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lines from the bottom. Yard site Doicha la'avel yud beis chodesh mikal tfilas hakadeshim shalchiyav miyam zeh. A yard site pushes off an avel within 12 months. He pushes him off from all the tfilas and all the kadeshim. However, v'hakadeshim shel tehillim b'shir shel yom shel mizmar shel chanukas ein yachal lidchos la'avelim. But that when we say he pushes off from the kadeshim, the real kadeshim mean the kadeshim of tefillah and aleinu. The kadeshim of mizmar shir is not a real kaddish. The kadeshim of shir shel yom is not a real kaddish. That you don't push off the yartzeit will not push off the avelim. The real kaddish is aleinu and the kadeshim of the tefillah proper. The kaddish shel mizmar shir liyom hashabbos, the kaddish of mizmar shir mchal hayartzeit shaloi b'yom vav bevadai ein loy chelik behem. Let's say a guy has yartzeit on Friday, and now it's the end of Kabbalah Shabbos. He wants to get the kaddish after mizmar shir. No, he has no chelik in it. It's Shabbos now. The Pri Megadim says the kaddish of mizmar shir is shaykh l'Shabbos. Ve'im chal hayartzeit b'Shabbos, mashma el yarabba the shaykh lahayartzeit. If the yartzeit comes out on Shabbos, the yarabba says the kaddish of mizmar shir is shaykh lahayartzeit. Ach ata nishtar be'v'haminuk she'en liyartzeit rak hakaddish shel aleinu. Over Knesset Yechezkel mashma sheyatilu goyrol. The Knesset Yechezkel says you make a goyrol. You take out a hat, you put tickets in the hat, and you make a goyrol between the yard site and the Avel Yud Beis Chodesh. B'chein b'kadosh she'omrim achar chomish megillos, oy b'kadosh drabanan she'omrim achar b'mam adlikin. Also, you make a goyrol. Let's say after Megillas Esther, hu ha-goyrol. You make a goyrol. Who gets the kaddish? Not during the laning of the Megillah. You have to do it on a different occasion. Im yesh shnei avelim shavim. Let's say you have two equal avelas. Kagan shel shiva, shel shloshim, ayud beis chodesh, shel yartzeit. You have two bnei shiva, two bnei shloshim, two bnei yud beis chodesh, two bnei yartzeit. Yatiru goyrol beineim. You make a goyrol. Umisha Allah ha-goyrol alav loymar arvis. The guy who is awarded with mariv, yesh lasheni kaddish echad shachris b'li goyrol. So whoever won the goyrol, he gets to say mariv. The one misha Allah ha-goyrol alav to say mariv, the second guy gets one kaddish on shachris without a goyrol, and legabe the third kaddish they make a goyrol. Likewise, the Bir Halacha says if there are many people, you should make a goyrol. And whoever won mariv, he doesn't get put back in the goyrol until the other avelim, each one get a kaddish, and then when everyone had a turn, you make a goyrol again. This whole thing is talking about someone who can't daven for the amud. If they both are able to daven, it's not enough that you want to daven. The tzibur needs to want you to daven. Like we said earlier in Siman Gimel Sif Beis, the Dershu brings, that if one guy is merutza l'kal, one guy sounds like Pavarotti, the other guy sounds like a foghorn, so the kahal could be ma'akev and say, Rabbi Yid, we don't want you to daven. However, the Mishna Berura says earlier, it's a mitzvah on the kahal to let an aval daven because he's saving his parent from Gehenna. So even though the kahal might have to endure what they consider a degree of the Gehenna, it's not as bad as Gehenna proper. However bad it is, it's not as bad as actual Gehenna. So do the poor guy a favor. The guy's in a self-cleaning oven. Have rachmanis on him. Now, the shots, the kol could only be ma'akev shots, but the kol cannot be ma'akev amir sakadish. Oh, now this is Oya Menorah. The din that the kahol could be ma'akev shots is only to daven shachris or mincha. They can't be ma'akev a guy to daven mariv. Why? Because shachris and mincha is connected to tamid shel shachar v'shel ben arbayim. That the whole tzibur has a chelek by. So the tzibur could say, we don't want you to do it. But mariv, which is keneged hekter evarim chalav mevarim, the tzibur can't be ma'akev a guy who sounds like a foghorn from davening mariv. Yeah, that's an interesting halacha. The din of the ikuv hakahal is a din of, look, you're bringing our carbon for us, we don't want you to do it. Even though, by the way, we're learning now in Nedarim, Kaihanim shlucha derachmana or shlucha didan. L'chayra, if you say Kaihanim shlucha derachmana or shlucha didan, does that mean also the shliach tzibur? Shlucha derachmana or shliach didan, or the shliach tzibur is definitely shlucha didan. But if it's learned out of the carbon tamid, then the carbon tamid, l'chayra, right? The Gemara in Kedushin concludes Kaihanim shluchei derachmana. The Gemara in Nedarim, it seems like it concludes they're also shluchei didan. So maybe legabe that. In other words, I wonder if that applies to the shots. That machlokes Kaihanim shluchei derachmana shluchei didan. I wonder if that applies to the shots. That's a good shaila. Okay, let's do the Chafetz Chaim.